In the latest episode of Sister Wives, the emotional chaos reaches a boiling point. As Mary Brown's romantic secrets come to light, Christine Brown battles old insecurities that haunt her even in freedom, and Kody Brown delivers his most stunning confession yet. He no longer believes in the very lifestyle that made him famous. Season 20, Episode 4 isn't just another chapter in the family's unraveling story, it's a full-blown reckoning. As viewers brace for confessions, confrontations, and unexpected tears, it's clear that no one is walking away unscathed from the fallout of Kody's crumbling empire. The newest episode of Sister Wives has dropped, and fans are still trying to catch their breath after the whirlwind of emotions that came with it. Season 20, Episode 4 delivers more than just tension. It dives into heartbreak, renewal, and self-realization as each of the Browns faces the reality of what their lives have become since the family split apart. The hour opens with Mary Brown appearing more confident and grounded than she's been in years. Yet there's an undeniable undercurrent of secrecy in her demeanor. Viewers immediately notice that she's smiling more, that there's a warmth in her tone when she talks about the future, and that her words hint at something, or someone, new. When the producers probe about whether she's seeing anyone, Mary gives that classic mischievous smile that fans haven't seen since the early seasons. Her hesitation says everything, and the internet immediately ignites with speculation that Mary may finally be ready to love again after years of loneliness. For years, Mary's storyline has revolved around heartbreak, catfishing scandals, and her emotional distance from Kody. But this time, there's a glow around her that feels different. When she talks about what she wants in a partner, she uses words like honesty, laughter, and companionship, hinting that perhaps she's already found someone who brings those qualities into her life. The cameras catch her exchanging flirty texts, though she refuses to name the mystery man. What's striking is how liberated she seems. There's no hesitation, no looking over her shoulder for Kody's approval. It's a powerful transformation that has fans cheering from their couches. For the first time in a long time, Mary seems to be living for herself, not for a shared husband or a broken covenant. Meanwhile, Christine Brown, who has been one of the season's most beloved figures, faces emotional turbulence of her own. While she has often spoken proudly about breaking free from Kody's control and finding joy with her new husband, David Woolley, this episode peels back the confident exterior to reveal something much deeper: fear. Christine admits that she's still haunted by years of neglect and emotional manipulation. When the cameras follow her to a quiet moment in her Utah kitchen, she breaks down, confessing to Janelle that even in her newfound happiness, she struggles to believe she deserves it. The confession is raw, powerful, and heartbreaking. Christine opens up about how Kody's past criticism made her question her worth, and though she's moved on in life, those old wounds still sting. The emotional weight of Christine's storyline is intensified when she reflects on her daughter's futures. She admits that she fears her girls might repeat her mistakes, falling for partners who don't truly value them. It's a fear that feels painfully real, especially for fans who have followed Christine's journey from obedient plural wife to independent, outspoken woman. In one tearful confessional, she says, "Sometimes I wake up afraid that I'm still that woman who begged to be loved." Her vulnerability touches a chord with viewers who have watched her growth unfold over 20 seasons. But it's Kody Brown's segment that turns the episode from emotional to explosive. The man once known for preaching the virtues of plural marriage now appears almost disgusted by the lifestyle he once championed. In a confessional that leaves both fans and producers stunned, Kody says he's done with polygamy. His voice is cold, distant, almost bitter, as he recounts how polygamy destroyed his family and ripped apart every connection he ever had. He describes the faith-based justification he used to cling to, admitting that it now feels hollow. He says, "I used to think I was following God's plan, but all I did was hurt people I loved." For longtime fans of the show, this moment feels surreal. Kody, who once lectured his wives about spiritual obedience, is now openly condemning the very system he insisted they live by. The irony is heavy in the air. Robin watches quietly during his confession, her eyes wide but unreadable. There's a tension between them that speaks volumes. For years, Robin was Kody's most vocal supporter in maintaining plural marriage, but even she seems to sense that something within Kody has fundamentally changed. Their dynamic has shifted, and fans can feel it. As the episode progresses, the family's fractures become even more apparent. Janelle, who has maintained a distant peace with Kody, sits down for what begins as a calm discussion but quickly turns tense. She reminds Kody that his anger at the other wives is misplaced, that he's lashing out because his identity as a polygamist no longer serves him. Kody bristles at her words, but Janelle doesn't back down. She accuses him of rewriting history, pretending that the failures of the family were solely caused by the wives' rebellion, when in truth, his control issues pushed them away. The exchange is icy, yet honest, a reflection of years of suppressed resentment finally surfacing. Robin, meanwhile, finds herself caught between wanting to support Kody and fearing what his anti-polygamy stance means for her. Her marriage, after all, was built on the idea of shared faith and plural family. Now that Kody has denounced that lifestyle, she's unsure where she fits in his world. In a moment of rare honesty, Robin admits, "I thought this was forever. Now I don't know what he believes in anymore." Her tearful confession adds another layer of tension, painting a portrait of a woman watching her dream crumble before her eyes. The episode doesn't rely on big dramatic fights, but instead builds its power through emotional truth. Every scene feels like a reckoning, a moment when the characters finally confront what's been left unsaid for years. Mary's cautious hope for new love contrasts sharply with Christine's lingering fear of old wounds, while Kody's rejection of polygamy feels like the final nail in the coffin of the life they all once shared. In one particularly poignant moment, Mary reflects on her past, saying, "I spent years waiting for him to see me, to love me, but I think I finally realized I don't need to be seen by him anymore. I see myself." The camera lingers on her face, and fans online have called it one of the most powerful moments in the show's history. Mary's journey from heartbreak to self-worth encapsulates what Sister Wives has always been about, the search for identity, even in the ruins of a broken family. By the end of the episode, the tension among the family members is palpable. The old bonds that once tied them together through faith and commitment have been replaced by individual stories of growth, pain, and survival. Robin walks away from the confessional looking lost, almost hollow. The man who once stood at the center of a plural family now seems to be standing alone, unsure of who he is without it. Christine, in her final interview, speaks softly about moving forward. She says, "I don't know if I'll ever stop feeling the past, but I know I'm not afraid of it anymore." Her tearful words feel like both an ending and a beginning, a reminder that healing isn't about forgetting, but about reclaiming your voice after years of silence. As credits roll, the teaser for next week promises even more upheaval. Kody and Robin's relationship appears to be at its most fragile point, while Christine hints that her dating life might take a public turn. Christine prepares for a confrontation that could redefine her relationship with the rest of the family. Fans are already calling Episode 4 the emotional peak of the season, with many predicting that the show's upcoming episodes could be the most transformative in its history. In a way, Sister Wives Season 20 Episode 4 feels like both a collapse and a rebirth. It's the moment when everything that once defined the Browns, faith, loyalty, unity, finally disintegrates, allowing each person to rebuild themselves from the ashes. Mary's quiet courage, Christine's emotional honesty, and Kody's disillusioned confession paint a portrait of a family no longer bound by tradition, but by the shared pain of breaking free from it. And as fans digest the fallout, one truth becomes clear. The Sister Wives story isn't over. It's simply evolving.
What began as a series about faith and family has transformed into a saga of independence and identity, proving that even in heartbreak, there's room for hope. Season 20, Episode 4 captures that spirit perfectly, leaving audiences with one haunting question. If polygamy is over for Kody Brown, what does the future hold for the rest of them?
Kody Brown is no stranger to controversy, heartbreak, or reinvention. But now, the man who once proudly led a sprawling, polygamous family is rewriting his own story. After years of chaos, emotional confrontations, and a shattered family dynamic that played out on national television, Kody is reportedly leaving his old life behind to embrace what he's calling a new beginning. Sources close to the Sister Wives patriarch claim that this isn't just a change of scenery, it's a complete transformation of who Kody Brown is at his core. The question that fans everywhere are asking, is this the redemption arc he's been waiting for, or just another chapter in his long, complicated saga of self-destruction and denial? In the quiet of Flagstaff's early autumn mornings, the man who once stood as the patriarch of America's most infamous polygamous family now finds himself surrounded by silence. For Kody Brown, that silence is both haunting and healing. After more than a decade of living his life under the relentless glare of the public eye, Kody is turning the page. He is no longer the husband balancing 4 marriages, nor the confident leader declaring divine purpose in plural love. Instead, he is a man trying to rebuild from the ashes of a family that fractured beyond recognition. This is Kody Brown's story of leaving behind the life that defined him, of seeking something that resembles peace, and of chasing a new beginning that may finally free him from the emotional wreckage of his past. For years, Kody's identity revolved around the show that made him famous. Sister Wives was more than television. It was his mission, his validation, and his spiritual calling. He once described himself as the man who would prove that polygamy could work when built on faith, respect, and shared love. But what started as a bold social experiment slowly devolved into a living nightmare of jealousy, resentment, and fractured dreams. The women who once stood by his side, Mary, Janelle, Christine, and Robin, each walked a path that took them further and further away from the unity Kody had promised. By the time the family moved from Las Vegas to Flagstaff, it wasn't just geography that changed. Everything they had built together began to crumble. Kody's downfall wasn't sudden. It was slow, agonizing, and painfully public. Christine was the first to walk away, shocking fans with her decision to end her spiritual marriage in 2021. She cited years of emotional neglect and a one-sided relationship that had left her feeling invisible. Her departure opened the floodgates for revelations that Kody had long ignored: his inability to balance affection, his obsession with control, and the deep favoritism he showed toward Robin. When Janelle eventually followed suit, it became clear that the cracks in the foundation were irreparable. Even Mary, who had clung to the hope of reconciliation despite years of alienation, finally admitted that her marriage was nothing more than a shell. Kody was left standing with only Robin, the one wife who had always been by his side, but whose presence had also become the symbol of his undoing. Now, after everything has fallen apart, Kody is trying to make sense of who he is without the title of husband to 4 wives. Insiders reveal that he's taken time away from the cameras, focusing on introspection and solitude. Gone are the crowded family dinners, the tense confessionals, and the constant tug-of-war between faith and family politics. Instead, Kody has been seen spending time alone, hiking the Arizona trails, and attending therapy sessions that friends say have forced him to confront the darker sides of his personality. He is reportedly working on a memoir that he hopes to set the record straight and show the world the man behind the chaos. But whether this is an act of redemption or a calculated PR move remains to be seen.
Those who know Kody best say he's been humbled in ways he never expected. Losing 3 wives, his once tight-knit family, and even the respect of many of his children has forced him to reevaluate everything he once believed. The man who used to preach about leadership and spiritual destiny is now speaking quietly about personal accountability and emotional growth. According to one family insider, Kody has finally realized that love cannot be managed like a business or dictated through religious conviction. He's finally seeing what his wives were trying to tell him all along, the source said. He's learning that leadership isn't about control, it's about compassion. But the road to this so-called new beginning has been anything but easy. Kody's relationships with his older children remain strained, especially with those who sided with their mothers during the family's unraveling. His connection with Christine's daughter, Truly, is described as distant, while Janelle's sons have openly criticized his behavior on social media. Even his bond with Mary's child, Leon, has been tested by years of emotional distance and public controversy. While Robin remains by his side, their relationship has reportedly been under immense pressure. The isolation that once seemed like a comfort has turned into a mirror reflecting Kody's deepest insecurities. Still, there are signs of change. Kody has been spotted at community events, no longer hiding behind the guarded persona that once defined him. He's been seen smiling, engaging in conversations, and even joking with fans who recognize him from Sister Wives. Some say he appears lighter, as though a heavy burden has been lifted. Others speculate that he's simply trying to reshape his image before the next season of the show brings him back into the public spotlight. But for Kody himself, this transition appears deeply personal. In a recent private conversation shared by someone close to him, he allegedly said, "I've been living in the past too long. It's time to let go and start over. Maybe this time I'll get it right."
Kody Brown may have lost 3 wives, but he certainly hasn't lost his taste for grandeur. The Sister Wives patriarch, once known for preaching simplicity and family unity, is now living out what he calls his family home dream, though that family seems to have shrunk to just him and Robin. Fans are stunned after reports surfaced that Kody recently purchased an opulent new property, one that redefines what luxury means for the once struggling polygamist family. While Mary, Janelle, and Christine have gone on to rebuild their lives in peace, Kody appears to be building walls, literal and emotional, around a lavish new estate meant to symbolize a family dream that's long been shattered. When Sister Wives first aired over a decade ago, viewers were introduced to a sprawling, chaotic, and fascinating world. 1 man, 4 wives, and a shared dream of unity through plural marriage. But years later, that dream has splintered beyond repair. And yet, Kody Brown, the once idealistic patriarch who promised to keep all his wives under one spiritual roof, is now doing the very thing he once condemned, living large in a home that's all about exclusivity, luxury, and image. The whispers began quietly, reports of a land deal, rumors of permits being filed under Kody's name, and subtle hints from Sister Wives scenes showing Robin browsing high-end furniture catalogs.